Welcome to this latest episode of Q&A Thursday. I'm absolutely loving these sessions. We're actually here today at Stockbrook Manor. This is where we run our academy. Our academy is our year-long mentoring and masterminding program. If you want to know how to work with an investor to structure a deal, this is your time, and I'm sure if you're thinking it, lots of people in the room are thinking it as well. Good, so this is your chance now, ladies and gentlemen, to get all your questions answered. And we're going to start over here with Nigel.
So, question for Jay, please. Jay, I've got an opportunity on a landmark development, 3.8 GDV, million that is, in North Essex. There hasn't been a project like this in probably the last 60 or 70 years, and it's that's why it's a landmark opportunity. I've got some ideas of development costs. It's a cleared site. Current developer is bailing out for unknown reason at this moment in time. We're in negotiation and discussion with the current estate agent to pick up on the opportunity, even down to possibly buying the company that he set up for it to work within the regulation to hopefully get it at a secure price. Even JV with him if he's open for that kind of opportunity. But where I'm struggling right now is to get the deal to stack on development costs. There's an underground car park that's going in. There's a ground floor opportunity, and then 14 apartments above that. And say it's an amazing opportunity that's come our way. It's a site I drive past every single day as well, so I really want to get nailed on it. But say I'm struggling to make it stack at this moment in time. And I know I haven't given you all the details. I fully appreciate that. But is there anything that I could be missing and trying to work out where it's stacking? I've got the deal prices in approximate £1 million for the land. 3.8 GDV, so if you do your 30, it kind of looks like it's going to stack, but actually when I do my square footage, it's into a negative value for the purchase of the property. So the question is, on a development, is what kind of square footage or square meterage build cost should I be looking at to be able to pull that deal through?
You started describing the development. You mentioned an undercraft car park. To what I'm hearing here is risk and the cost going up and up. The minute you start digging, you need constant piling to do the digging. You need to excavate the whole ground and stuff. So it'd be a lot of cost involved. So that is probably one reason that is not stacking up. Let's simplify this. Let's get rid of the undercraft, okay? Because that we'll have to look at that in detail, yeah? To see how much cost we need to allocate, because it could be like $500,000, just from the undercraft to get rid of just the spoil, is that level? So, and depending on the volume and all that, so we'll have to look at it. But let's imagine, just for the simplicity, guys, that there is no undercraft. You just got simply strip foundations, and then you got good ground. I'll strongly suggest that do not use anything less than about 1,000, right? £850 or even £1,900 per square meter. If you are in the Essex area, right? If you are in the Essex area, £1,900 per square meter, okay? And this is straightforward construction, no piling, just purely good grounds, yeah? If you're looking at, poor ground conditions, i.e. you have to do piling or there is contamination, you need to add to that probably in the region of £200, so £2,100 per square meter roughly, rule of thumb. But obviously it depends on what you're doing with it, okay? So that's Essex area, around Colchester area.
I wanted to ask you, what's the best way to analyze a deal when it comes to rent? Let's say I go to the agent, and I go for he allows me to go for a viewing. and he shows me the property and he gives me a price for the property. I wanted to understand what are the parameters for me to actually understand if the deal is valuable or not.
With any type of development that you do, any type of deal, it's really important that you work your numbers backwards. So when you're doing a development and you're buying something, you're always going to start with GDV. What does GDV stand for? Gross Development Value. When you're looking at anything from a rental point of view, you're always going to start with gross rental income. Okay? So this is what you do, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to write this stuff down. You take the gross rental income and you minus the amount of money that the landlord wants for his house. That might be £1,000 a calendar month. What other costs do we have when it comes to rent deals? We've got utilities, haven't we? Brilliant. So we've got utilities, which are council tax, gas, electric, water, that type of stuff. Now, typically speaking, just to work your deal out initially and to give you some margin, you work out utilities at £100 per room per month. 100. Okay, now in some of our multi-lets, we're at £60 or £70 per room per month. But if you go in at 100, that gives you some room to play with. Then what else happens in HMOs? What else happens with deals? What sort of issues can we have? We can have voids, really good. So you take off 5% for voids, and that's based on your gross figure. So if your gross figure comes in at, say, £3,000 a month, what's 5% of 3,000? 150. So you take off £150 for voids. What else happens in these types of properties? Maintenance and damage, brilliant. And we always work on 5% of gross income again. So you take off another £150. And then what you've got is you've got a figure left at the bottom. And that's ultimately your profit. Okay? And you want to make sure that figure is circa £500 to £600 per calendar month. If you're doing this stuff inside of London, and let's say one room is, say, 900 quid a month, then I'd want to be making at least 1 month's profit. So if I ever have a void for a period of 1 month, which is unlikely, but if you did, then at least you're not losing money, you're breaking even. You don't really need to overcomplicate it much more than that to stack the deal up. And then of course you can dig deeper. Level 2 is when you can dig deeper, and yes, you can go out to your local utility companies, you can get a price for the gas and a price for the find out what the council tax will be, and then you can do a much more detailed analysis, but you're not going to be far out from doing that deal.
So what Liam has just said is absolutely correct, 100%. So the next fundamental figure we need to work out is how much is it actually going to cost us to set up. So this can be what we call our capital expense, okay, or CapEx. So what do we need to actually set the deal up? We're going to need a deposit to put down with the landlord, right? That might be 1 month or 2 months. Okay, so we might have furniture to put in. We might need to do a bit of repairs, a few bits of decoration. Okay, so we've got decks, we've got deposit, for example. That's going to give us our capital cost. Let's say 5 grand, yeah? Capital cost. If our net income that we've just worked out on the other sheet is, say, £500 a month, what's our payback period on this deal?
10 months. 10 months.
Yeah, 10 months. Okay? So if we've got a 1-year contract with the landlord, say he or she can break it after a year, are we going to go for this deal? What are we actually going to make out of this deal? £1,000, yeah? Assuming all goes well. Okay? So then the next question we can ask ourselves is, doesn't necessarily mean this is not a deal, but I want a 2-year contract. Yeah? Because then I'm going to make 6 grand. Yeah? 7 grand out of the deal. So the next key thing with rent to rent is what is our payback period? And so you need to be setting yourself a metric on that payback period, maybe 6 months, for example, I would say.
I'm 6 months. Yeah.
6 months?
We're doing these deals.
Yeah.
We are 6 months on our payback.
So that is, you need to get all your money it's going to cost you to set it up back in through your net income within 6 months, because then everything else is profit. But if you're not getting it back within the first 6 months, I'll be questioning whether it's possible, whether it's worth doing that deal. So they're the 2 key things to make sure you're analysing. Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Derek. And my question is to all of you. What can I do to make my new business more credible? Does that make sense? My property business. So my new property business more credible without experience or prior knowledge.
Some key things, obvious things I'd start with. So website, yeah, quite key. Having an online presence is very important. Okay, that gives credibility. Being part of, especially in property, part of some redress schemes, property ombudsman, property redress scheme, PRS. Okay, they're important to be members of. Okay, being a member of the RLA, Residents Landlords Association, or the NLA, which is the National Landlords Association, one or the other. Okay, and having those logos on that website gives credibility. Something that you might want to do from day one, you might want to do later on, but potentially going limited company. Okay, that can build more credibility. My personal view on that is, I think you need to build some business before you actually incorporate. But some people have different views, so you could do that. Go limited company. Other things are on social media, just being more of a face on social media, posting more on social media, talking about property, talking about coming to events like this, showing that you are actually walking the walk. Okay, you're actually doing stuff. Okay, you may not feel as though you know everything right now if you're at the start, but you know, I'm at the AFL Academy learning today. Stuff like that builds your personal brand, builds your personal credibility, professionalism. So when you are your business, right, when you have that conversation with somebody else and they Google your name, your social media posts are going to come up. Yeah, your business page is going to come up. Your website is going to come up, and that all builds credibility as to who you are and what you're doing. So if I, for example, went out and I just said, oh, I'm a car salesman, and then they Googled who I was and I talk about property all the time, I have zero credibility. But if you Google my name probably now, you'll see that I've got credibility, right? So
cool. Thanks for tuning in to this latest episode of Q&A Thursday. It's been my absolute pleasure to serve you. Please keep sending in the questions. Please like and also share the video, and please make sure you stay tuned for more videos that I'll share with you every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday at 7:30 p.m.